Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Texas Virtual Academy, which is an online public charter school for the state of Texas. So we see here it's an online public charter school, and it provides education for students in grades 3 through 12. It's broken up into two different schools, sort of. And the first school is for grades 3 through 8, and then the second school is for grades 9 through 12. And TXVA is a partner with the Responsive Ed system and K-12 Incorporated. So here's a video on getting to know TXVA. Um, we're not going to look at it right now, but I'm going to attach the accompanying presentation so you can look at the video when you get a chance. But this video just gives a really good idea of what TXVA is and shows who the principal of the school is, and just gives some parent feedback and information on what kind of students this school is essential and good for. TXVA's mission is to provide high-quality education that meets or exceeds the Texas state standards. TXVA provides alternative educational options for students with families who want to be more directly involved in the educational process. Therefore, they're basically saying that in order for a student to be successful at TXVA, that it's really important that there's a parent who can be home with the kid while they're working through the assignments. If a student is at home trying to work and the parent isn't there to provide help to them and frame the work for them, that student probably won't be successful at TXVA. One other part of their mission is to create connections for students through regular outings. And it's really important at TXVA that students are able to meet up with other students in person, and families are able to meet up and get to know each other, and that the students are not just isolated uh, at their home or in their online learning environment, but they actually get to meet each other in person, as well as getting to meet the teachers in person. As for the organizational structure, TXVA has a head of school who basically oversees the principals of each of these sub-schools. There's a principal for the grade 3 through 8 school and another principal for the high school. There's curriculum coordinators for each of these different schools, each division. And the elementary school, the grade 3 through 8 school, has master teachers who are kind of what I think of as department chairs at the high school level. Um, and these master teachers oversee each of the lead teachers, and a lead teacher is basically like the classroom teacher at a physical school. In the high school division, there are department leads who oversee the classroom teachers, just like you would expect to see in a physical brick and mortar school. And the K-12 support staff who partners with TXVA, they handle the technology issues and the back-end business aspects, um, financially and all that sort of stuff for TXVA. The regulatory environment, TXVA uses the curriculum that's created by K-12 Incorporated, and all the coursework that's provided by TXVA is approved by the Texas Virtual School Network through the Texas Education Agency. So basically, the concept here is that TXVA is a typical public high school in the state of Texas, and all of their courses have to match state guidelines for public schools. They test, they do state tests just like a regular brick and mortar public school. Um, Everything in that sense is the same as a physical public school. There's some links here for the course offerings. Um, I'm not going to go to them now, but again, in the accompanying presentation, there'll be live links that you can go and look at if you're interested in checking out the course offerings for the elementary middle school division and the high school division. At the high school level, they also offer courses that are comprehensive, which is basically considered on level for regular students. There's honors courses for students who are, above level, and they also offer AP courses for students who are interested in taking those advanced level courses that are similar to college level difficulty while still at the high school level. The student body, TXVA is a pretty large school. Um, the most recent data I could find showed that TXVA had an enrollment of 6,477 students across all their grades from grades 3 through 12. And last year in 2015, TXVA had its largest ever graduating class of 270 students. Um, I was really interested in looking at the demographics of the students at TXVA because originally I had looked at, instead of TXVA, a different virtual school that was just based in the Houston district of Texas. And I was interested in the Houston virtual school because I found that it had demographics very similar to the demographics of the public school where I teach now. The school where I teach has a very large Hispanic and Latino population. It's close to 55 to 60% of the students. And the second largest demographic at my school is blacks or African Americans, and they make up about 40%, 45% of the student body. And there's other ethnicities at my school, but they're very small. There's probably all the other ethnicities, including whites, make up less than 5% of the students at the school where I teach. So I thought it would be really interesting to look at this Houston school because they had similar demographics. But as I was looking through that school, I found out that their website wasn't very strong, and there didn't seem to have a whole lot of support. So I just expanded out to look at TXVA instead, um, just because I'm sure that there's some students from the same Houston area at TXVA. But the general sense that I got from TXVA is that their students' demographics were probably a lot more similar to average demographics for other um, virtual schools across the country, which had a larger percentage of enrollment of white students or Caucasian students. Um, and usually at the other schools that I saw, there was about 60% of students were white or Caucasian. And so I think that TXVA would show similar demographics from that, but I wasn't able to find any data on their website that actually supported that. And when I tried to contact the school for an interview, I wasn't able to get a response from them to find out what the demographics were in regards to this. Here's some videos that we're going to check out for TXVA's website. This is the main screen that you can see once you log into the website. There's some really important, helpful links that I found down at the bottom. There's some videos over here to talk about the important aspects, different tabs that they have on the main screen. And we're going to pause for a minute and check out one of these videos. So that was just a quick video on the community and events section of their website. And I made another video. I'm not going to look at them all now just for the sake of time. But there's another video about the technical aspects of students' concerns that they might have. And then I had another video that I made that's based on the how it works section of the website, which just talks about, who is Texas VA ideal for? What's the ideal candidate? Who's going to succeed um, at TXVA in a virtual school? So when looking through the website, just some things that I found that were really strong about the website was that it was really easy to navigate. I really liked just the color scheme wasn't distracting. It was easy to find things that I was looking for, except obviously the student demographics. I thought that they gave a good background on the school leaders, so I was confident if I was a parent looking to enroll my student in the school, I was confident that these teachers and these administrators had solid educational backgrounds and they were reputable people, and they knew what they were doing in terms of leading students at a school. It was really easy to find information on the website. Everything was organized well in that respect. Um, some of the drawbacks and weaknesses saw on the website was again that I couldn't find student info on demographics. Um, and maybe that doesn't seem important to them, but for me, as a person who grew up in a highly diverse area, um, it's really important for me to know that, if I was a parent with a kid going to this school, that they would be sensitive, to my culture, to maybe my belief system, just that I wouldn't feel like my child was excluded or outcast for any reason. And another thing that I thought would have been really good to have on the website was be able to see photos of the staff members, just to kind of see the kind of people that would be teaching my students. And I guess eventually, if I was a parent who had a kid enrolled in a course, I would get to meet the staff members. But I just felt like it would be a better website overall if the parents could see actual staff members and not just names of staff members, um, while they were still prospective families and prospective students of attending TXVA. And up here we have the link for TXVA's website. And again, in the accompanying presentation, if you're interested in checking that website out, you'll be able to click on that link. So again, I did try to talk to TXVA. I sent them an email on March 12th, and I didn't get a response. So I sent again on March 16th, and I didn't get a response with that. Um, Again, just one of the things I was really looking forward to finding out was information about student demographics. So here's some of the references that I used in looking up information about TXVA. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. It was really interesting learning about TXVA. Um, just virtual schools are an entirely new concept to me in this course, and I thought TXVA seemed like a really strong school in terms of providing services for students and making sure that students are academically prepared to enter college or to enter into the workforce after high school.